Welcome to the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast, where we dive into inspiring stories, thrilling adventures, and expert insights from leaders and legends across the outdoor adventure community. Whether you're an avid hiker, passionate camper, or adventure traveler, each episode brings you up close and personal with guests who've lived it, explored it, and made it their mission to share their experiences with you. Let's get after it. If you're anything like me, you've likely longed for a time when you could leave everything behind and hit the road. Actually live the van life. I've got you covered. This episode's for you. Today I'm talking with Brent and Alan Klein from VanDoit, taking travelers and organizations to better places through trustworthy modular van designs for each story. Good morning, Alan and Brent. Welcome to the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast. What's going on today?
Well, good morning, Greg.
Hey. Good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good to talk with you guys. We've met at various places, talked to a few of your other people, and I've coveted a van for quite some time, but now I think my lifestyle's changed. It may have moved past it, but love you guys' work. It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
So
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, keep up the good work. It's got to be a little bit fun too, right? Customizing all these things.
Oh, it is fun. It's fun to be creative, and it's fun to think about how it will impact people's lives. For me, that's what's fun.
Yeah. I've seen some cool ones out there. Let's start at the beginning. What's your first memory of road tripping in a camper van with the Klein family? Either one of you can go at this one.
Well, I'm curious what Alan's. We were in a van. Well, I'll let Alan. I'd love to hear Alan answer that, and then I can give a brief answer.
All right.
I think for me, it all starts with it depends on what your definition of camper van is. Because we started, our travel was in just a 15 passenger Ford van. So that's where it all started for us. And so we would take these long road trips. I have 3 other siblings, and those old vans would have 4 different rows. And so we essentially would each get our own row, which became our bed. And one of the memories that I have that's fondest is we took a trip to Yellowstone National Park and one of those vans, and we were towing a pop-up trailer behind it. And so we were stopping in all these different locations. We started off in Colorado, headed to the Tetons, was in Yellowstone. And so I look back on that. I forget how old I was. I was probably 10 or something like that. But that was when some of those adventures, some of the early signs of like, okay, I think there's something here for us in this adventure space.
Very cool. Yeah.
So, Alan, do you ever remember a vacation of ours that wasn't in a van?
I don't remember a single one. All were in vans.
All in vans. Were they all towing something?
What was that, Rick?
Were they all towing a trailer of some sort? Or just camping in the van?
No, just the van.
Car camping kind of thing.
And as far as for me, Alan's memory is a little different. For me, I grew up in the RV business, and we were always modifying vans and buses. And so I grew up around it, and we were always in something that had been tricked out, so to speak. And my earliest memory was a trip to Oregon. My dad and my grandfather, Woody, had converted a bus, and we took the whole family to Oregon. And so that's my earliest memory. I was probably 5, but all of my family trips did revolve around a van or an RV of some sort.
Cool. Yeah, I think those of us that are of a certain age, that's the case. My family we camped, just car camped and tent camped, but then they bought a 1959 Airstream, which was our first RV kind of thing. So yeah, we've all done that. Yeah. I forget where I read this, but somewhere in the notes, I read a trip about a rubber ducky. What was that? Was that the first trip where you lost the rubber ducky?
Well, it's my first trip that I remember, and it was that trip to Oregon. We had family in Oregon, and we had stopped in a store, and I left my rubber ducky behind, and I made my family go back for that rubber ducky. Yeah, the memory's a little foggy. That's maybe why I remember that trip, though. It maybe caused me to remember that trip because of the loss of the rubber ducky.
How far back did you have to go? How far down the road were you?
I don't think we were too far, probably 10 miles.
Oh, that's a piece.
Yeah. But I was so upset with that rubber ducky being gone. And just a lot of good memories on those trips, that's for sure.
So I also read that the Klein story started back in 1947 with Kaiser Fraser vehicles. How did that love for vans and RVs evolve through the generations? Were those early vehicles, were they trucks, vans, wagons? What were they?
Yeah, my grandfather Woody was a Kaiser Fraser dealer, and something a lot of people don't know, Kaiser was an owner of the Jeep product at one time. So the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, like the very first one, was a Kaiser Jeep. And so along with Kaiser, my grandfather was a very adventurous sort of person, lived to love life on the wild side a little bit. He was a free spirit. And so he was,
I
he
sensed
was an
stories
art.
there.
What's
I
that?
sensed some stories there. We won't go into them, but
No,
maybe
yeah.
at another time.
Yeah, he had some stories, that's
I'll
for
bet.
sure.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we always were tricking out vans and RVs, and he was an RV dealer back in 47 in Manly, Iowa. And yeah, that's really the roots. That's how it all got started.
Okay, gotcha. Very cool. And there's a lot of talk about van life these days. How do you think VanDoit taps into the van lifestyle in a more authentic way or a unique way that some of the other, there are not too many big brands, but there's some other people doing it.
Well, I'll go first, and Alan probably has something to contribute here. But the thing about VanDoit is it is a convertible brand, meaning you can make the van, personalize the van, and make it whatever you need it to be. It's been referred to so many ways, but I like to say you can edit your van, and and that means that you can use the van in your life in every facet of your life. If you drive the highways of America, you're going to see a lot of RV storage lots, and people buy their RVs and they can use them for that one purpose, and that the RV sets in a storage lot 70% of the time. Our
in
vans
their
were
driveway,
designed,
yeah, or
yes,
on the street in the neighborhood. Yeah, exactly.
yes. Our vans were designed to be used in your everyday life, whatever that looks like at that time. And so when you say van life, a lot of people just picture only living in your van. Literally for us, yes, you can do that. And you can configure your van for living in, but you can configure it for whatever life brings you. And so that's how we feel we contribute best to van life. You can edit your van because it is the way a lot of people call it, the transformer. It is modular. It is convertible. It is all of those words. It does that. When everywhere there's grid in our van, what we call the skeleton grid, you can do some sort of a component, a hook, a ring. You can modify that van to make it whatever you need it to be for whatever your need is at that moment. So there's how I think we contribute to van life, is everyday life, all facets of life. Alan, you got
anything to add to that, Alan?
Yeah, I think just riffing off of that, I think that was birthed out of our own experience where there are the van life that you often see on Instagram. Is like, it seems like these people are living full time on the road, and certainly do. It's probably a very small percentage of people who are on Instagram or on social media posting about van life are
Right.
full time. A lot of the people are just doing the daily dozen, working a normal job. Maybe it's a remote job, and so they're able to travel more.
Yeah.
But they need to go to Home Depot to do some landscaping. They need to
Right.
throw some mulch in the back of their van. Or they need like safe seats to be able to throw into their van to be able to haul their kids to soccer practice. And so
Right.
it was birthed out of our understanding of like, yeah, we love to travel, but there's also all these other facets that we need a vehicle for. And so I think you asked, how is it more authentic? I think we were able to tap into the reality that people wanted something they could go camp in, but they also wanted a van that could do a lot more for them. And I think we were able to do that through the modularity and able to transform. It's like making a van that you can't edit as you go or use for other things is like bolting your bed and your furniture down into your bedroom.
Yeah.
So it's just not as practical.
Yeah, and it's like
we try
buying
to
a
tap
trailer,
into
right?
the
You're
real
stuck
life.
with a trailer. That the trailer's the trailer. You can't do much to it. And
Exactly.
It's true life. It's true life, Rick.
yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
when you say van life, I know that's a certain meaning, but really for us, we see it. Our vans are able to truly do life with you, whatever that is.
That's
They
pretty cool.
truly
Yeah.
do life with you. Are
That's
you
what
familiar? Are you familiar, Rick? I know you're generally asking the questions. Are you familiar with our like mobile medical, our commercial side of VanDoit?
No, I saw you guys at an outdoor event. I think it was the Outdoor Adventure Travel event in Nashville. Not Nashville. I forget where it was. But anyway, I think that's where I saw you. You were just talking before we turned the mic on about what you were doing to a medical style van. I didn't know you guys do all those kind of things. That's impressive. Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, what brought that to my mind is when we were talking about our vans do life. Well, there's a lot of facets to life, and our vans about 70% of our vans, the consumer will use it for their camping experience, their memory generating, but also for in their business. Most of our vans, if you look online, look on our website, they're going to leave with a graphic on them of some sort. And most of those graphics will have a name on it. And a lot of times they're using our vans in their business. And it's because of that adaptability. It's because of the transformability of the van that it can, by day, it can be your showroom for your clothing brand. And by night, it can be your camping van. And people caught on to the fact that it's bulletproof and modular and transformable. And so they said, hey, I can do anything I want with this van, including take kids to soccer matches, including it being a daily driver. But here's the thing. Some of that did spawn our roots. In 47, my grandpa, yes, was an RV dealer. And yes, he started converting vans. He converted one of the original Transits. I don't know if you know what the original Ford Transit looked like.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends that have those.
Yeah, but he converted Transits back then. And he was just always adapting. He was always making changes. Well, let's fast forward. Our van business, we went through that era as a family business where van conversions between the late 60s and really the early 90s were a really big deal. There was brands out there. There were thousands of brands.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, you had shag carpet and velour curtains, and that died away. And so our van conversions that we continued to do were for plumbers and electricians and summer camps and things like that. But then as we began to convert for adventure vans again, we said, okay, since this is modular, we can actually expand. It's not like we started with VanDoit camper vans and then went to commercial. Our roots actually were in commercial. We were a leasing company, and we said, these vans really need a second life. What life can we give them? And we said, let's turn them into camper vans. But what we did also, because of that modular nature, we were able to use these vans for some amazing things, like wellness vans, mobile medical vans.
Right.
They call them crisis units in our world. And they're counseling vans. We have the ability to do some amazing things beyond just camping. I'll say that.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that drew me to it as well, because it's like a little Lego project, right? You take things out, you put things in for what you want to do that weekend, and then you take them out and you put it in for the work week, and then you switch it up because you're doing something different the following weekend. That's a great idea.
Right. Yes.
Versatile.
So we assist with treatments, mind treatments, ETMS. And so our vans are modified to do that medical procedure as well as others. And that's designed around first responders and veterans and people with PTSD. And the result of what is happening out of these vans is really incredible. And then if a person needs a van for their business, a mobile business, we pretty well can do it. And we definitely serve, again, every facet of life. We like to make a difference in the lives of people in every facet that we can.
Yeah. No, that's smart. And do I have this right? You have this broken down into two: Klein van and specialty rentals still handle the commercial side, and then you have another VanDoit handles the recreation side, if you will. Do I have that right? Walk us through that.
Not really. VanDoit is really the brand.
Overall brand name, okay.
Yeah, Klein Van and Specialty Rental. When I said that our roots are in commercial, that was the leasing company that ultimately became VanDoit. But when you buy a van for commercial or you buy it for adventure, either way, it's coming out of the VanDoit brand.
VanDoit.
Yeah, every one of those vans will have the VanDoit name on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you got some deep roots in outdoor gear and motorsports. How has that background shaped how you design and build your vans for adventure? Probably helps you create some. You realize all the wear and tear they take, so they're probably bomber proof, I would imagine.
Yes. Yeah, I wish I could show you a picture right now. Well, I guess I can. It's pretty amazing. I've turned my phone around here, but yeah, I grew up in the motorcycle business and we did archery and just really everything. We had a sporting goods store and a power sports business and fishing and the works. And making the van very tough. I called it bulletproof earlier, and that's not literal. That's figurative. But we wanted to make the van where it could take the abuse of people who like to play hard and worked hard. And that's what we've done. Initially, the first van we made so that it could handle toys on the underneath side and then sleep above. So it's the garage concept. And that was our first van, still probably our number one seller. And our van or our bed moves up and down. So the size of your toys, whether it be motorcycles or bicycles or something that's taller or something that's shorter, you can take that platform down. So that it absolutely contributed to the development of the van. It was everything. But the very first thing was function, and then we'll let form follow behind that. But it has to function. Right. Has to function.
Yeah. Alan, you got anything to add to that? You probably were born in one of these vans.
I wasn't born in one.
Okay.
No, but I've spent a lot of time in them. Yeah. No, I think exactly what my dad said is a lot of, if anybody balks at our product, it doesn't have anything to do with its functionality, its quality, durability, it's the aesthetic. But then people fall in love with the aesthetic. They realize that when they take it out, they're like, man, this thing can do anything and I can do whatever I want. And within reason to this van, I can get it wet. We have a lot of bikers who love to be in our van. And so we've got a gear slide that slides out from underneath the bed, and people can just spray their bikes off right on top of the gear slide, and it can handle things like that. So we didn't let the tail wag the dog. For us, the van needed to last, and it needed to work, and it needed to solve lots of different issues for people's travel and work needs. And so we let that be the main thing, and we let the aesthetic follow suit. And it's certainly a rugged aesthetic, but we like it.
Yeah, so, it looks great. Yeah,
Alan and I have taken lots of mountain bike trips in our vans, and he's very familiar with the benefits of the design. We throw those bikes in on that gear slide, shove them in, go, and then at night when we're tired, we've had many trips where we pulled over and just jumped up in bed and fell asleep, driving through the night.
Super versatile.
Yeah, and we because we're this way, we realize a lot of people that are in our vans are doing a lot of different things. They're biking, they're kite surfing, they're hauling their family, they're doing DIY projects at their house. A lot of these people are doers. And not only do we provide a lot of accessories for our van, like we've got the T-Track system where you can cinch anything down essentially anywhere, but we have a lot of customers that like take it into their own hands and do their own stuff. Like they want to hang a fan here, so they buy an aftermarket fan and they're able to like put the fan inside the van whenever and wherever they want. So it's a bit limitless. There's just a lot of options, which has been a high value for us.
Well, and like any good design product brand, you probably get a lot of cool ideas from what your customers do too. I'll bet you you probably go to a lot of events and see what somebody did. Say, hey, we got to incorporate that into one of our modularity options.
Yeah, we have some brilliant customers who have
pretty creative,
who have taught us things, and that's something we really value is just open line of communication with our customers, and we're really building the vans for them. And we're asking the question like, how can we build a van that best suits them? What are the needs? So we've had customers we work really close with, engineering minds, adventure minds, who have really given us a lot of feedback. And we've listened. Like our Move model, that's our newest model, is birthed out of listening to customers and what they need.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. Have you ever hired a customer?
Yes.
I don't know. Have we?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, we had Billy Crandall and his wife Sharon both have sold for us and continue to sell for us, Billy in particular, but I think he still gets help from Sharon. She does some other things, but yes, we had a customer that they came in, looked at a van, wanted to buy a van, bought a van, then loved it enough that they wanted to start selling them. So that did happen.
That's awesome.
And that may not be the only one, but that's the only one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And family seems to be at the heart of everything you guys do, from your daughters and sons to your longtime team to your customers. How does that shape the company culture? Must help in the design process, right? Because people like you are going to be using it.
Yeah, it absolutely. We are very family oriented. And so that family extends to, as it should, to our team. And we don't treat our team like a number. My dad used to say, the kind of coach you want is the coach that's there for you and not the other way around. Mm-hmm. You're there playing for him to get his W's, and you're nothing but a number to get him there. That's not the kind of coach you want.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel that's how we are as a company. And we know we're dealing with real people with real feelings and real problems, and they know that. And so we feel that they are very loyal to the company and and because of that, I think we've developed faster and a better product because they are they are so loyal as team members that when something's not quite right, they don't put their hands in the air and say, not my problem. They take ownership and they say, no, not on my watch. We're going to get this fixed. We're going to have it.
Yeah, figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think it's made a world of difference in every facet, from the development to customer service to delivery day to how we present ourselves to the public. And I think caring always matters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Alan, you probably got a perspective on that.
Well, yeah, I do. When I tell people I work for the family business, a lot of times people are like, how's that? Like, assuming that
right, they are. You're right. Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
And
80-hour weeks.
It's for sure. Yeah. But it really is the familial culture is one of mutual respect. And like he was saying, ownership and all having a part to play. And we've actually I think what's really beautiful about that is that's actually extended to our customer base. And I don't know how many vans we have out on the road right now. There's a lot of them. And one of the coolest things I've seen happen is a community has unfolded. Really, we've helped steward that, but it really took shape by the impetus of some of our customers who have said hey, there's a lot of like-minded people who are in these vans. And so fast forward today, there's a VanDoit community. We have VanDoit owners experiences multiple times throughout the year that customers are actually putting on. And so anybody who owns a VanDoit is invited. And a lot of people have made lifelong friends, closer than their high school friends, just by owning a van from the same company. And I think that culture was spurred on through just the familial culture of VanDoit.
Yeah. Somebody said, let's get together. And then somebody said, yeah, let's do. And the next thing you know, they're singing that song. Let's get together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So I don't know. Was that a Brady Bunch song? Was that Brady Bunch?
I have no idea.
I honestly think Let's Get Together. Yeah, it was Brady Bunch.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway, we just jumped in after they had already done it. They had already developed these gatherings, and we started coming after they had developed it. Good point there, Alan.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And you've probably seen some epic adventures come out of your vans. Is there any one customer story that stands out that really captures what you guys are all about? Probably a bunch of them, actually, but
there really are
a bunch of them.
there are I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you that there's a story that in my mind that stands out. I've heard so many.
Yeah, that's probably what's cool. The collection of them all, right? They all.
But I will tell you that there was a bear attack on a van, and the bear literally destroyed the van. Absolute must have been a big bear.
Yeah, holy cow.
And literally, I don't know, maybe totaled the van.
Jeez.
Found its way in the van and clawed it up all over everywhere. And the family was actually out on a hike. When they came home, their van was destroyed.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, that jumped out. I'm not saying that's a real positive thing.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, though. Yeah. It takes a big grizzly to destroy things.
Yes. Yep. And that's impressive. Yeah, that's a hard one not to stand out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We've got there's a lot of stories. A lot of our customer base is just a really cool group of people.
I bet.
We have one family in our van. Their names Rebecca and Tyler, but their Instagram handle is Adventure for Six. And they load their 4 kids up in an extended length do model that we have. And the number of places this family goes is unreal. Wow. One of their missions is to really inspire people to get out with their families and go on adventures.
That's good.
So it's been fun to watch.
Look that up. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. That'd be fun.
Adventure for Six. It's a tremendous one to follow. They're really fun to follow. With all their kids running around all over those ski resorts. Yeah.
And I bet the feedback you guys get is just fantastic. What's some of the, when someone first takes their van out, they got their van, they're all excited, it's all designed, and they take it out. What's the typical response when they get back? They must just be gushing.
That is always it. That's how I see it. I don't ever hear any negative. That's crazy, but I don't. I always hear all of the tremendous times that they have.
I would imagine, too, that if you do hear negatives, it's more of a positive improvement idea as opposed to this thing sucks. Do you get some of that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Have you ever thought about, or here's something we would like?
Right.
But yeah, when you can take your van, it's a pretty nimble van. It's not overly large, like a Class A or Class C RV. You could take it to the trailhead in the middle of nowhere, and it is designed to do that because it's a little smaller profile than those, and all-wheel drive typically, and usually a bit lifted because of that, and a little bigger, burlier tires. And so you can go about anywhere you want, and it's off-grid. It's got solar, it's got lithium batteries, and that takes you to places that give you visual, audio, and every kind of experience that maybe you wouldn't get otherwise. It's a lot different than being relegated to just a parking lot or a campground or it always makes for some really vivid memories.
Yeah, unique stories. Yeah. Alan, anything to add to that?
There's not one customer response that comes to my mind, but the image that I get is the same image that I like to mountain bike. I remember when 29-inch wheels came out on mountain bike. It makes rolling over rocks and roots a lot easier and just a lot more fun, more of a smooth ride and smooth adventure. One of our friends let me borrow their 29er, and I rode it for a minute, came back, and I had a huge smile on my face. I was like, oh my gosh, that was a game changer.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it. And so the same thing, I think that's the image that I get for customers is generally it's just a big grin on their face. Man, that was a good time. That's the way to travel.
Yeah. Well, and I think those of us that have camped a lot, right? Some of us grew up with trailers and things, but you always evolve to, you want to be able to get out there, but you don't want to have to tow a trailer or do all this stuff. And I think tents get old after a while, and the camper van has just made this evolution that much more positive for everybody. And all the options you guys offer, it's impressive. You can customize it any way you want. So that's great. Yeah. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Let's talk gear. What are a few of your favorite VanDoit van features that were built specifically with an outdoor adventure in mind? Maybe all of them, but is there a couple that stand out? Alan, you want to go first on this one?
Sure. I think this is a bit of a newer feature for us. Whenever we first started, we wanted to maximize space, and so we didn't make a dedicated shower space. And we still haven't made a dedicated shower space in there, but there is a shower space that you can essentially erect very quickly. And so in our move model, you walk right in through the slider door, and you've got a grate that's right there on the floor. And it's essentially a mud room. So you step into the van, you step onto that grate where it's got a drain underneath it. So you can literally just spray your feet off right then and there. But then you've got a shower curtain.
Well, that's cool. So you get out of the weather. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly. Yes. So we still have outdoor showers, and those are great too, but sometimes it's cold or rainy and you just don't want to do that.
That's right.
So we also have to where there's a shower curtain that pops down, and it's a stall. You hang it from the T-track that's in the ceiling, and it hooks into this grate that's on the ground, and it becomes a shower. So it's either a mud room, a doormat, a shower, or a place to spray gear off inside your van, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
So that sticks out to me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I too love that one, but in general, I love the grid system. And I know that's not a specific feature, but it is because it is what allows you to hook bags for storage, hard shelving storage. Really, it's what allows you to do whatever you want to do.
Allows you to do all the rest, hang the shower, everything. Yeah.
Everything. It is the greatest convenience feature, because sometimes you just have those aha moments. It's like, well, I love that, because you can take your bag of underwear right off. You have a clean underwear and a dirty, and I pull it right off the wall.
Yeah.
Take it in, wash it, bring it back out, hang it right back on the wall.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is just incredible to me. It's
That's pretty cool.
The convenience features that it offers is my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea. With so many people embracing remote work and nomadic lifestyles, where do you see the adventure van trend heading in the next 5 to 10 years? Don't give away any secrets, though. Don't share any secrets you're holding out. Or whatever.
I'll tell you, I would love to sit here and tell you that everybody wants to go high tech. Your brain goes toward self-driving or
I hadn't thought of that. Okay, yeah.
It goes toward autonomous. It goes toward battery, toward e-vans, and those types of things. But I'll tell you, I think what we have done is kept things simple. We gave you what you need where you need it. We didn't try to do all sorts of bells and whistles that might impress at a glance, or might impress because you could talk about everything your van does. we give our customers a lot of power, a lot of energy to run that van, run air conditioners off of the lithium batteries, to be in the middle of nowhere and still have power. We did the things that mattered right, but we didn't overcomplicate the van. We did allow you to personalize the van. And I feel like we went down the right road, Rick, because when I see a company like Slate pop up, and ultimately, I think simple, unbreakable, as little breaking as possible, having what you really need and get it really right, not just overcomplicating things. I feel like that is the future. And I think we're on the right path, and I think that the new brand of Slate trucks shows us we're on the right path. They definitely, if you saw the release, talk about the modularity of the van, the convertibility, or of the truck, the convertibility. It can go between a truck and an SUV. And they got the really important things that people really want, but they also allowed for personalization, which reminds me an awful lot of us. I think keeping prices reasonable, not overbuilding things, not putting a lot of stuff on a van that break and create road drama, and doing the functionality that the van needs at its very best. I believe, I know that's our future, whether it be in the adventure van side or the commercial side. That's our future, because that's what drives us, is that function. And I believe that's where we will be. And honestly, I believe that's where the market is going, is a kind of a return to some sanity.
Simplicity seems to be driving a lot of things these days.
Simplicity. That's right. That's right. So that's my thoughts on it.
Alan, anything?
No, I think I would echo that. Yeah, I think we live in a volatile world a little bit, and just a lot of things happening and a lot of change that's happening. I think we'll see, a return to simple. People want simple, predictable, certainty,
some
quality.
level of certainty.
Yes. So I just echo what Brent was saying.
And I think there's so much noise in the world right now too. I think there's a lot of people looking to get away from all the daily noise, not just stress. We all have daily things that go on in our jobs. I don't, I'm doing a podcast, but there's a lot of things that happen. But I think watching the news and all the stuff, I think people are just looking to like tune that out. I just want to go chill and go be in nature, take my motorbikes and go ride, whatever it is. And I think that's going to only continue as we get busier and crazier. Yeah.
It's amazing when I look at the van I'm in right now doing this podcast. I see it is, honestly, it's so cool looking. Mm-hmm. It was all about function, but I'm looking at some of the overhead cabinets have doors and some don't. Some have bungee cords. Mm-hmm. That speaks to people. A lot of people don't ask for doors on their cabinets because they like to see what's going on, but more importantly, they want one less thing to deal with.
That's right. Yeah.
I can just shove my clothes in through those bungee cords and they're not going to fall out, and I can see them, and they store just fine that way. Yep. It's kind of like open cabinets in houses these days, in kitchens that you're starting to see. It's just simple, and that's just sometimes less is better. But we definitely put a lot of attention towards the things that matter, and that's what we'll continue to do, and give good customer service along the way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. We're going to take a little break and give some love to our sponsor, Thrive Market. Think organic groceries are too expensive? So does Thrive Market. They guarantee savings on healthy groceries and home essentials delivered. How? It's easy. They work directly with the best organic brands, so you get the highest quality products without the big retail markups. Shop everything from pantry essentials to sustainable meat and seafood to non-toxic cleaning supplies, and save up to 30% on your favorite products. Choose a free gift up to $24 in value when you purchase a Thrive Market membership. 1 year and 1 month memberships are available. Go to ricksays.com/Thrive Market and get your membership today. That's ricksays.com/Thrive Market. Now, back to the show. So what advice do you have for someone looking to take the leap into an adventure van or convert their first adventure rig? Anything stand out? You probably you'd probably give this advice a lot every day to customers.
Well, of course, I believe in our product. So sure. I hesitate to say, well, buy a VanDoit. But at the same time, I believe in the product so much that it's hard for me to say anything different.
Yeah, you should say that. Yeah, I would expect that.
We have been around. This is not new to us. When I saw Slate come out, and I'm like, boy, they think the way we do. It's like they've been watching us. And I saw that and I'm like, yeah, that is us, except that's been us for a really long time. Where the modularity, the convertibility, the simplicity, it's been us for a really long time. And so I believe in our product completely. The quality is there so much that we sell to a lot of law enforcement departments. They use them. We sell to disaster relief and communications companies like Verizon, that they're there in case of a national crisis with their vans. And that's the type of quality we do. And it's hard for me to say when you've been around, you do that kind of quality. You've got command units and drone units and bomb units and communications units, and you got all that going on one side of the company, and you can bring that over to the adventure side, and you've got that sort of dependability. And again, you can personalize it at every level. It's hard for me to say to do anything different. We've got the experience and we've got the quality, and it's hard for me to say anything different than if I were getting into this, knowing what I know, I'd be all over a VanDoit. That's what I would do. So that's what I would recommend.
Good advice. Alan?
Yep.
Same advice?
Yeah, I would say I also very much love our product and believe in it. I think a lot of people think about going down the DIY route, and that's the answer for some people. Maybe people who are like very highly skilled or have a ton of extra time. But with all my customers, I've dealt with a lot of customers who have tried the DIY route. And it's just important to know that it always costs you more than you think it's going to cost you. And it's going to take you way longer than you planned for. And you're going to have a lot more issues down the road than you really want. And so really consider that. And if you do DIY, you want to not fix yourself. You don't want to put yourself in a corner. And the ways that you can make it functional and modular and the ways that we talked about, because a lot of times people say it's not till your fourth DIY van where you actually have it the way you want it. And that's a lot of time and a lot of money. That's some of my advice.
Unless you're into that sort of thing. There's a lot of people that like to do that just because they like to tinker and go for it. Yeah,
totally. Totally. And that's the people where it's like, maybe that is what's right for you.
Sure.
But I think some YouTube videos make it look really easy, and it's not as easy as it sometimes seems.
That's true. Yeah.
The one thing about it though, Rick, is I've seen a lot over the years where people there's majority of people think they can and probably shouldn't. There are some that think they can and should. But even then, even if they have the capability, I hear things like, when my friends were on the trail, I was always working on my van. And when you're R&Ding from the start and you're trying to figure this out for the first time, it is very time consuming. And even a good electrician will tell you that it's difficult because you're converting between the DC and AC.
Right.
You don't want to use dissimilar wiring as an example because that'll create corrosion. You've got to the insulation, the rub doesn't happen through the metal walls that you cut, because then you're going to have a short, you're going to have a fire. You're talking between 12 volt and 110. There's so many things going on in the walls of that van that if even somebody that does electricity for a living, they get into a van, it's completely different for them. You've got two alternators, you've got the coach batteries, you've got the house batteries, chassis batteries, you've got solar. And all that was just electricity, but there is so much more to it. And so I have seen a lot of people, I've had a lot of people seen them call the company and say, I bought a van 3 years ago. I have screwed it up. I need to do something different. And it's horror stories. And I don't want to say it's not for...
if you're capable of what you're doing, go for it. But you just want to go out and play and have all the stuff. Go to VanDoit.
And what we found too, though, is a lot of those people are tinkers. You'd mentioned tinkers, Rick, and a lot of our people are people that maybe would be able to do it, but they don't feel like they said no to being able to tinker with their van because our van is so plug and play. So they're still able to do their tinker, get it exactly the way they want it, and not have to do all of the hard work.
That's the beauty of the modularity.
It's kind of like we do the hard stuff, but they still can, because it's modular. Again, we're hitting that pretty hard, but that's our biggest thing.
Well, I think the modularity piece, part of the thing that drives people to do that is the creativity.
Right.
Kind of say that they did it themselves, and you guys have that option, right? You do everything behind the scenes, behind the curtain, so to speak, but they can go tinker with all the outside and make it just.
To Alan's point, their creativity and their tinkering desire, it's undoing these things. Go for it.
That's right.
Let's shift gears again. Do you have a favorite destination that you like to just maybe on a Friday night, you've been a long week, grab the family, put them in the van, and go? Either of you guys?
Go for it, Dad.
No, go ahead, Alan. If you've got something, go.
Well, my favorite destination isn't just a quick drive away, but it is still my favorite. West Coast, the Big Sur area, and Los Obispo, kind of Central Coast.
Yep.
I've taken multiple van trips there. One I took with my wife a few years ago. Just one of our happy places. We just love being on the West Coast in a van. Yeah, specifically driving at Big Sur. Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's a good one. Yep.
Alan, what was that ridge that you guys drove your first 4-wheel drive van up? You remember?
Pruitt Ridge. It actually wasn't a 4-wheel drive. It was a minivan. So but it was up a mountain pass, dirt mountain pass. Shouldn't have done it, but it was a good adventure.
We've all done that though.
I thought that was your van trip with you, Kurt, and John. So that must have been a different trip. So
a different trip.
Yeah. Awesome.
Brent, do you have a favorite spot, Brent?
Everywhere. I love the West. I just came back from Santa Fe. My wife and I, when we went to the 4 Points area and woke up at Monument Valley one morning, that's forever going to be a burned-in memory. We woke up to the sun coming up behind the monuments in one of our vans, and our very first van, basically. And so I love that. I love the West, but you know what? I love the green of the Midwest as well. We have green rolling hills, and I love of course, the East Coast has such amazing things, particularly in the fall. Even beyond that, like Shenandoah Valley over in the East is just amazing.
It's tough to pick one,
and who doesn't love the 30A area of Florida?
I hear you.
It's just, I wish I can't pick one. I love Durango, Colorado.
I hear you. I'm the same. Yep, I'm the same. Yeah, I have one spot in the Eastern Sierra that Buddy and I have dubbed Campsite A, because that's our one fallback place, right? When we can't get on one of those trips across the country or down to the coast or whatever, we just make a plan to meet up at Campsite A, and we generally know, although it's gotten busier over the years, there are people who have been there.
I'll tell you my favorite place.
Yeah.
And this isn't just for brownie points, although this might happen. My favorite place is sitting with my wife somewhere with a cup of coffee.
There you go. That's a good place.
Wherever that is.
Yep.
That's where I want to be.
That's a good place. Yep. I can visualize that place. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. What about a favorite piece of outdoor adventure gear you never leave home without? Do you have one of those?
Of course.
What is it? I got to hear this.
It's not really gear. It's my bicycle. The number of times I've taken my bicycle places that I didn't need to because we never got to ride them, but I took them anyway. And I took one for about every member of our family just in case we were going to ride. You cannot go anywhere without a bicycle. You have to have a bicycle. So,
gotcha.
Anyway,
all right.
that's
so true.
Mine.
Alan, what's yours?
Yeah. Mine would be my sandals. Just it's important to have a pair of sandals to me.
Flip-flop sandals? What kind of sandals?
No, like my favorite brand would be like Teva, however you want to say it. Teva sandals, just let the toes free, but also be able to cross a stream without having to go over a bridge. Just things like that. I'm a big sandals guy.
Those are pretty good. I spent many summers in Teva sandals.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, river guy.
What's yours, Rick? What's your gear?
My favorite gear is I have this cool, really tiny little stove. It's one of those canned gas containers. It's not a Primus. I forget what brand it is. I got it years ago. And I just never leave home without that, because even if you have the big Coleman or whatever, you just can't have enough backups. And that thing, whether I'm traveling light or I just need to pop something out and warm some water to get some coffee going, it's super handy. I love that little piece. Yeah.
The reason I ask about the Primus is that was Alan's favorite thing at one time, was his little burner. And somebody we haven't talked about on this podcast yet is really the brains behind it. It isn't Brent Klein or Alan Klein. It's actually not a Klein at all. It's Jared McCausland. And Jared is the one who took this company into the adventure van space. We were, again, a van leasing company, but we were leasing to plumbers, electricians, summer camps, businesses of all types. And we were doing modest modifications, tremendous relationship with Ford because of that business. But Jared left his job in corporate America with Archer Daniels Midland, a food company. He married my daughter and he wanted to go to work in the business. And he said, "Are you willing to do something bigger? I don't know what it is, but are you willing to do something big?" He's the one that created that van that my wife and I woke up in Monument Valley, Utah. Hey, just a second. Hey, Banks. Shh. Sorry, my grandson is actually in here with me.
That's okay. We'll leave that in. That's all good stuff.
I don't know if you can hear him in the background, but he's over there playing hard.
That's all good stuff.
Which is all good as long as I can think when I talk. Anyway, he's the one that created this van with help from engineers and different things. But Jared can be, again, he's a co-founder and a co-owner. But what he can be somewhat is a little bit reckless once in a while. And we were on a family vacation, and Alan had his Primus, whatever, however you pronounce it, sitting there. And Jared disappeared, and we had a campfire built. I think, Alan, is the story. Jared came in with this giant log that he was bringing into the campfire, and it was heavier than he could handle. And he dropped that darn log, and it went rolling down the hill right over Alan's Primus, and the Primus was already burning. And so it went into really fast burn mode because the gas was flying everywhere. It was like a little bomb.
Yeah.
Alan, you can tell the rest of the story.
Emergency mode.
Oh, yeah, it was emergency mode. So I just had to grab it and throw it into the river. Sorry about the fish pollution there, but I thought I was saving people's lives.
Or kick it into the river. I'm not sure which, but hey, that was a good way for me to plug Jared. But I also want you to know that the advancement of the law enforcement vans and the mobile medical vans and the whole world of commercial, he started developing those probably over 2 years ago when he knew that COVID was going to end and we were going to be able to do something additional, and it was good for our business. And
I bet.
And he developed a heck of a commercial van, and it was easy. Not to take away from him, it was easy because the platform we use is so convertible. So
that makes total sense. Good idea. Product extensions are all that way. Somebody has an idea and away they go. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you guys read a lot? Do either of you have a favorite book? Just one that stands out of all the books you've read?
I'm a big reader. I have a lot of books I really like. I don't know if you've ever read. It's a fiction book. C.S. Lewis's Narnia series. I read that as a kid.
I'm not a big fiction guy, but yeah.
Okay.
Heard lots about it. A lot of people.
Yes, I'm a big nonfiction guy too, but I always come back to C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia series, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is my favorite in that series.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, gotcha. I know a lot of people that have read those. Brent?
Rick, I'm not a big reader.
All right.
I have read a little. I've some of my favorite books that I have read are Malcolm Gladwell books, like David and Goliath. And Alan mentioned earlier before the podcast started the 10,000 hours, and so I've read several Malcolm Gladwell books. But I like to read my Bible. I like to be a better person, but also not so biblical. I recently have been doing the Matthew McConaughey book, Green Light. And
interesting.
I find that very entertaining.
It is very entertaining.
He's a very entertaining author, and there's that's you can take away a lot of stuff from that.
That's really good.
Matthew McConaughey, when I was reading about him converting an old GMC Safari and how he converted it, and he was taking that van adventuring all over everywhere, and ultimately bought an Airstream and pulled behind it. That I'm like, oh my gosh, if that isn't our customer, that's our customer through and through. So I think we're symbiotic.
That's a good one. We'll have to link to that one too. Yeah. As we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to say to or ask of our listeners? Brent, why don't you go first?
I appreciate people. I appreciate our customers. I appreciate and I'm very thankful for those that support VanDoit. And just, you know what? Here's what I would say. Vans are somewhat created around, at least the adventure side, are created around self. And the one thing I think I found, even you mentioned people are looking for a way to remove noise, and our vans, a lot of our vans are going into the mental wellness world because we're in a state where depression is becoming almost an epidemic. High anxiety is becoming an epidemic. And our vans are in cities all over the country and counties all over the country, helping to conquer that epidemic. So when we talk about crisis units or our wellness units. That's a lot of what we're talking about. And here's what I would say. I love being in a business that creates memories, and these vans are designed around your family and around you. And we talk a lot about how you can change them and personalize them and make them more and more about you. And we talk about mountain biking and all the things we do to take care of ourselves and make ourselves happy. But the one thing that I will say is, and it's a little preachy here, but even though that's the business we're in, one of the best things we can do for ourselves and humanity is to not think only of ourselves, but to think of others. I think we're living in a day and age. If we really want us to live life with purpose and hope, it's not only thinking, yeah, I love that we focus on self when we're building a van, but taking that van and somehow along that journey, wherever you go, whatever you do, can you help? How can you give a hand to the next guy? Help the next one in line.
Yep, I like
how can you help somebody else? And then a commercial side of our vans, that's exactly what we're doing. So that's what I would say is it's not just about us, it's about other people.
That's a good one. Alan?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting that actually I was going down pretty much the exact same route. And so my thing I would like to say would just be, I think we all have a kind of an itch or like a question of like a desire for something more than we're currently experiencing in life. And sometimes it's like a feeling of gap. And I think that what I just wanted to say was pay attention to that. And oftentimes that gap can be filled at the intersection of like serving other people and having an eye for the need of your fellow neighbor. So that's something that exactly the same thing is like, that's what we're hoping to do. We're hoping to be a vehicle, literally, but figuratively to allow organizations to serve people in need. And but I think we can all do that in our own little ways in our ordinary lives.
Well, let me preach just a little bit more. I feel like the family is the foundation of goodness. When the family is strong, then society is strong. And so these vans can help family create memories, be close, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that's a good starting point. But again, if there's no greater journey, no greater adventure than to be used for positive in life. So again, along the way, as you're developing memories and you're developing your family and hopefully a great foundation there, the best thing you can teach your kids is along the way is in that journey, in that adventure. The best adventure is how you can help that next person you come across that you can tell needs help. If you go on a family vacation and you see a person who could use a bicycle and you go buy them that bicycle and you give them that bicycle, imagine what that's doing in the minds of those little people with you. Yeah. A little more preachy, but just giving ideas for how you can be out doing life and making an impact at the same time.
Yep, good one. Love it. Well, it's been great talking to you guys. I look forward to meeting you and checking out those vans one day. That's one of the things I've always thought of doing but haven't done yet. So we'll put that on, keep that on the list.
Know some people.
Yeah, it's right. I know some guys.
one of these days when you're in the Kansas City area.
Yeah, definitely.
You should swing by. We'll give you a tour, and we can give you some good camping spots. Take one of our vans and go out for a few nights.
Sounds good. Let's make a plan.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
It's been fun. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, ricksays.com, where you'll find show notes and links to everything we talked about and more. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, give us a rating on Apple Podcast or spread the word and tell a friend. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week, and thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast.